Former Real Housewives of Atlanta star Brit Eady has filed a $20 million lawsuit against Bravo and NBCUniversal for the incident that occurred on the show last year with Kenya Moore. Let's unpack this lawsuit and see if she has actual grounds.
Here we go now.
Welcome back to the KEMPIRE channel, your number one source for pop culture news in music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Don't forget, guys, I will be in Atlanta on August 5th for the KEMPIRE After Dark, the Villain Era live tour. But before that, we will be in Philadelphia on July 10th. Then we're going to Atlanta on August 5th. Then we'll be in Washington, D.C. on August 22nd. And then finally, we'll be here in New York City on September 12th. Go get your tickets today. Meet and greet tickets are available. And exclusively for the New York City show, we have a live stream option. And even if you're coming to the Philly show or the Atlanta show or the Washington, D.C. show, what we say over there won't be what we say in New York. So get your tickets today. More information will be available in the description. It was yesterday that we went live and we reported to you that People Magazine confirmed that Brit Eady was not attending the Real Housewives of Atlanta season 16 reunion. And she released a statement. I think I still have the statement here. We can go through it once again because I think it's pertinent. She releases this statement, and in her statement, she says this: "As everyone is now aware, I'm not attending the reunion. This was my decision. The events of this season have devastated me." I think it's important to pay attention to what she's saying in here because we should have read between the lines that she was going to move forward and sue Bravo. Word on the street is that she was threatening to sue them when the Kenya incident happened. So now for me, this is just confirming it. So she says, "This was my decision. The events of this season have devastated me. And while I cannot say much right now, I do want to set the record straight about one thing. The graphic sexual photo surrounding the events in episode 5, the photo was not me. As the episode makes clear, I did not see the photo at the time. Rather, I was made aware of the photo being presented at the event, and based on what I was told, assumed that it was somehow a photo of me, which is why I reacted the way that I did. I do not know who was in that photo, but upon seeing it for the first time recently, I now know it was not me." And a lot of you, including Miss Esquire, who called in and said, "Well, there are investigations. I'm shocked that now you're just seeing the photo." Okay. She says, "I look forward to seeking accountability and moving past this dark part of my life." So it's important to pay attention to the language that she's using here. And if you've been watching our Real Housewives of Atlanta recaps, I told you, pay attention to Brit Eady's language. She's using trigger words, HR trigger words, for potential lawsuits. And I do believe she secured her spot this season on the show. We're not going to argue about Kenya and what she did. We already said what Kenya did was wrong. However, and sidebar, I'll say this before I move on. For those that think that Kenya's going to return next season, until they settle this lawsuit and figure this out, I don't see Kenya returning to, for lack of a better word, the scene of the crime. At least not until this is figured out legally. Because that's not going to be a good look for Bravo or NBCUniversal to bring back a person that's been accused of doing this. Not even accused, that did this. So she said that, and I told you, one thing that I've noticed about Brit Eady, and look, as I want to give her grace, I want to take out the whole of what I think of her when it comes to what she brought to the show and just take this as a person filing a lawsuit against Bravo, very similar to what we saw Nene Leakes file against Bravo. Sidebar, I'm pretty sure she probably has in her contract an arbitration agreement, which means that you really can't take this to court. You have to go to arbitration. Similar to what Nene Leakes signed. I'm not sure if she has it in her contract. I'm not privy to Brit Eady's contracts, but it wouldn't shock me that she has an arbitration agreement. And I'm sure Bravo, NBCUniversal Legal will remind her of that and have this dismissed, and they will go into arbitration. Maybe. I don't know for fact because I'm not aware of her contract. Everyone signs different contracts. But one thing I do know is that a lot of the housewives have signed in their contracts arbitration agreements. But okay, anyway, so let's get into this lawsuit and what Brit Eady's accusing the network of doing. Based on what I'm seeing in this report, she's not suing Kenya Moore because, again, she's going to sue where she believes the money resides. The big money, because she's suing for $20 million. So according to, and shout out to our friends over at lovebscott.com, they cited the Independent. So I want to go directly to the Independent who had their hands on the lawsuit. It wouldn't shock me that this lawsuit was sent to them or to several media outlets. So the Independent writes this. They said, Real Housewives of Atlanta star Brit Eady has sued Bravo for $20 million, accusing the network of defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, sexual harassment, and fostering a hostile work environment. Let me tell you something here. Bravo, and we said this since the beginning of the season, you should have kept this out of the season. I think if you had kept it out of the season, you probably could have protected yourself even more. The way that Bravo handled this, and all you human resources experts and directors and managers, please wait in the comment section and let me know your thoughts. The way that Bravo handled this, I don't care what side of the fence you're on when it comes to this situation or this incident. The way Bravo handled this, even including this in the season, I was like, this is a HR nightmare. You shouldn't have included it. Okay. So Eady, who's 37, who joined the reality series in its 16th season, filed a lawsuit on Thursday in the New York State Supreme Court. Bravo's parent company, NBC, and the production companies True Original and Small Shine North America are also named as defendants. I don't see them mentioning that Kenya Moore was named. In the filing seen by The Independent, the reality star's allegations stem from an incident that occurred during a June 6, 2024 incident. This is literally a year today since that incident. I believe she waited until the point where she figured that Bravo was not going to ask her back. Everyone has said she's had such a terrible season. We don't even know how the rest of the season plays out for her. She looks like she doesn't get along with anyone in the cast. Of course, her not attending the reunion was strategic. She's like, now I understand why she didn't attend the reunion. She didn't care about a couple of thousands of dollars for the reunion. She was like, I'm going to go for $20 million. So in the filing seen by The Independent, the reality TV star's allegations stem from this incident from June 6th and the subsequent airing of the moment on April of this year. Again, can you imagine if they decide not to air it? But you guys knew you had a lackluster season and that's why you kept it in. And now you're facing this lawsuit. So in the season's 5th episode titled About Last Night, former RHOA star Kenya Moore celebrated the grand opening of her hair spa with longtime co-stars Portia Williams, etc., etc. Upon arrival, Eady, who had sparred with Moore earlier in the season, attempted to make peace by gifting her a bouquet of flowers. Moore, however, rejected her apology, leaving Eady to bow out of the event early. And in Eady's absence, Moore proceeded to slam her and accuse her of looking for a moment and say, I'm going to pay you dust. Moore then brought out a poster board with the words, "Who is this hoe?" across the top. Below were explicit images supposedly of Eady, which were blurred out, that she said she obtained with the help of an investigator. Reacting in horror and shock, the other women told Moore she had gone too far before walking out. The episode ended with a title card that read, based on Kenya's behavior, the decision was made to cease filming with her this season. And I believe Bravo probably would have kept filming with Kenya, but I believe, and I don't know this for a fact, I believe that Brit Eady is litigious, and I also believe she probably told Bravo, or through her attorney, threatened them, like, I don't want to see Kenya on the show. I don't feel comfortable with her. What she did could be this, and this. And that's why Bravo decided not to move forward with Kenya. Appearing on an episode of the Tamron Hall show in November last year, Moore insisted that she was not fired from the show, claiming that she is still under contract and I am still an employee of the network and the show. However, according to People, Moore will not appear in the upcoming season 16 reunion, as you already know. On Thursday, Eady shockingly denied the photos were of her, which we already read. She then explained, as the episode makes clear, I did not see the photos, whatever. I did not know who was in the photos. Okay, let's move on. Eady's lawsuit describes Moore's actions as defamatory, harassing, and damaging. But she's not suing Kenya based on what I'm seeing. Moore's representative did not immediately respond to the independent's request for comment. Moore also displayed posters containing written false and defamatory statements regarding plaintiff and her occupation, the document reads, as well as an explicit photograph depicting a woman engaged in graphic sexual conduct. The cast member falsely claimed that the photograph depicted the plaintiff. The documents additionally accused the defendants of willfully, intentionally, recklessly, and or with gross negligence producing, editing, and airing the episode. I told you when this happened, I said, well, it's 3 weeks in. I don't see Bravo necessarily including it unless it's a lackluster season. Because at the end of the day, it put them in a very vulnerable spot legally. And this is coming from someone that's not an attorney. All the attorneys weigh in. Am I talking out of my you-know-what? So she says, on information and belief, defendants knew that the photograph did not depict plaintiff, or at least were recklessly or grossly negligent in failing to learn that the photograph did not depict plaintiff. It claims that despite Eady's repeated requests that she's been shown the photograph before the episode aired, defendants refused to do so. I don't know why they would refuse to show her that. The Independent did contact NBCUniversal, Bravo, and the production companies in regards to this. They have not received a comment yet. Eady is seeking the immediate removal of the episode from the public access on all platforms, networks, and media outlets in the defendant's control, as well as a public statement from the defendants that Moore's comments about Eady and the explicit photograph shown were false. She is also seeking a monetary award to be determined at trial, punitive damages, and legal fees. Should defendants fail to appear herein, judgment will be entered by default for the sum of not less than $20 million with interest and the costs and fees of this action, the filing states. Well, NBC Universal's legal is already all over this. They're not going to have any sort of default judgment happen here. Here's my thoughts. First of all, is Brit Eady wrong? Technically, no, because as I said before, and go back and see my recaps when the episodes aired, I said, I'm shocked that Bravo decided to air these episodes. It said to me that the season was probably going to be lackluster because they decided to keep in. Mind you, this happened in the first 3 weeks of filming. They filmed for 3 months. It said to me that they had a lackluster season, so they decided to keep it in. And now I think, again, I don't know if she has an arbitration agreement in her contract, which means that she can't sue them. She has to take it to mediation. However, if she doesn't have that in her contract, I feel as if she has a case, because I felt like Bravo intentionally decided to keep this in because they wanted the viewership. Anything for clicks, likes, and views, especially for a reboot that has been shaky. And before y'all talk about 1 week of ratings that have gone up, there have been week after week of ratings going down and people saying, I don't know about this. I don't like Brit Eady. So she's felt it. And we speculated that she was not coming back after this season. At least I was 100% sure she's not coming back. And then after hearing that she did not attend the reunion, I said, she's definitely not coming back. But I was not shocked to hear that she's suing them now for $20 million. Who wants a couple of thousands of dollars when you could sue the network for $20 million?
That is funny.
Now you don't have to worry about whatever that is you're selling on your website to teach people insurance and bare naked. Bravo, I think you should have just decided to scrap the whole incident from the beginning and delay the season if you had to delay the season, because it just was not worth it. It was not worth it. I don't believe, unless she has an arbitration agreement in her contract, I don't necessarily believe that she'll get $20 million, and she probably doesn't believe she's going to get $20 million. She probably is aiming for a settlement. I definitely think that she has somewhat of a case because I believe Bravo did not handle this properly, which I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked at the same time, because very much like some of these reality TV stars, they've gotten away with these types of HR abuses, and they decided, let's keep pushing the envelope, and here we are. Brit, girl, I wish you luck with this one, because again, if you have an arbitration agreement in your contract, yeah, don't be surprised we hear that this is being dismissed in a few months. Guys, as always, I want to know your thoughts and opinions, especially our HR professionals, our lawyers. Feel free to weigh in. I can't wait to read the comments on this one. What do you guys think? And of course, fans, what do you guys think of Brit Eady's lawsuit against Bravo, NBCUniversal, and the production companies that produce the Real Housewives of Atlanta? Let's weigh in below. As always, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss out on breaking news when we go live or when we upload. Thanks for watching.
Here we go now.